This is Kugan Cassius for iFLTV. It's weighing day here in Birmingham. Do you know what? I've got to say, when I saw you walk in, I looked at the jacket, I thought, that jacket, what size is that jacket?
Probably not big enough. I would say it's a treble XL or something like that, or a double XL.
All right, can we make a pact?
You know what? This is actually Dolce & Gabbana. I bought this.
What, Canelo didn't hand it to you?
No, normally I get the freebies, but I bought this jacket. How are you, son? Are you coming out with the enemy tonight?
What does that mean?
To the Railway Inn. Do you get on with Andy Puro?
Yeah, I get on with most
We're
people.
going to the Railway Inn tonight. I've got to say, it's one of the great places. Like, Indian restaurant in a pub. Like, the mixed grill's off the charts. So we're heading down there tonight, ahead of a massive show tomorrow night. Pumped, buzzing. Get up there, my boy.
Birmingham, let's go. If anything happens to you, can I have this Coke? We'll just make a deal.
Do you know what it is? Frank Smith humbles me all the time. You know, like, I think my biggest problem is I don't think. How old are you?
43.
Do you think you're 40? I mean, you don't. Like, you've got the same problem as me. Like, you dress like a mid-20-year-old.
Absolutely.
In my head, right? You know, like Phil, who works for us, right? I said to him the other day, it was his birthday. I went, how old are you? I'm looking at him thinking, I reckon you're 15 years older than me. He went, oh, I'm 42. I was like, oh my God, I'm 3 years older than you. I feel like a kid still. But surely that's a good thing, isn't it?
This is a good thing.
Unfortunately, I still dress like a kid. But, you know, when you just don't care. Like, and that's the thing. When you're comfortable in yourself, you just don't care.
Who cares?
And it just so happens that it brings out the blue eyes and I'm looking unbelievable. Jeez!
Bush. What fight outside of the main event are you most looking forward to tomorrow night?
Good question. I mean, look, I like, you know, what I love about this card is every fight's competitive. Kieran Conway against Ryan Kelly for the Commonwealth middleweight title, love it. Gavin Gwynn, just over there somewhere, against Cameron Vong, big step up for Cameron Vong. Let's see what he's all about. Lewis Ritson against Conor Walker.
Make or break for Ritson, isn't it?
You know what? I'm actually going to say this, right? Michael Stevenson against Troy James. Before the bell, 10-round English title fight. Both sold loads of tickets. I don't know if we had this conversation yesterday. My mood is dictated by the show, right? Probably you as well. You know, like, your mood might be dictated by the content that you put out. You know,
Absolutely,
you know, if it's a big week and you're getting big numbers and it's like, do you not find it makes you happier?
Absolutely. Spot on.
So when it's not a great show and the numbers, like even for me, the numbers aren't great. We've struggled a little bit with the tickets. I'm getting slagged off on social media. It gives me the ump. And I don't want to have the ump. I'm buzzing right now. And because I'm buzzing, I know it's a great show. And I want to sit there on the night and watch a great show. Just like anyone else that's bought a ticket. I want to, and really moving forward, we've just got to keep making great shows and great fights, because I've noticed that when, even on a personal level, when I do that, I'm happier as a person. Probably the same, like you're looking at your numbers going, it's been a bit like, ain't been a great week. When it's a good week and there's a bit of beef for you, there's views, there's content, all that kind of stuff, it just lifts my mood. So even from a personal therapy point of view, I'd need to do good shows to keep me happy, because I get the ump when people don't like it. You know? Little insight for you.
Look, I know I've said a few of your shows have been average this year, but this show here, not just the main event, but there's so many interesting fights on the undercard. Genuinely, you have put a good card together here.
Like, the reality is I've had a love, I don't want to say hate relationship with hardcore fight fans over the years. Actually, I get more cheers now than boos, which is nice. Not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm just one of you. I know you know, I'm there to be shot at and I'm there to be, you know, torn down. But I'm just like you. I just want to have a great night. I just want to see good boxing. But I'm responsible for that. So it's on me. And I just think moving forward, we do need to do better. But we will. And I'm serious about wanting to make every show. And by the way, sometimes when the money's coming in at the top level, like Riyadh season, like this card, I mean, Edwards Yafai is a big domestic fight, but the undercard, it doesn't have to be all superstars. Do you know what I mean? You can make really good, intriguing fights with great narratives. As long as it's a good competitive championship fight, that's the product for me. The product is no longer big name and don't really know anything about the opponent. I don't want to do that anymore.
Like that card you did years ago in the rematch for Cleverly and Bellew, where you littered the left-hand side with some of the biggest names. Yeah,
But
do you remember?
talk about therapy. You need some therapy. You're holding on to Bellew Cleverly 2 years ago. I'm sorry, but Bellew Cleverly 2. How many years ago was that?
8.
You are having a pop at me about a show I did 8 years ago. Do you know who was on Bellew Cleverly?
God.
Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
James DeGale, George Groves, Jamie McDonnell, Scott Quigg, Callum Smith.
I rest my case. Yeah. How many of them were in 50-50 fights?
I'll tell you how many. Absolutely none of them. But Bellew Cleverly was a 50-50. It just stunk the gaff out.
Hey, that was peak pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, it was pay-per-view. It actually did good numbers.
What do you think about Sonny Edwards' comments about the press conference move yesterday? He had the ump about that. What do you think?
He probably had a point, if I'm honest. I mean, it was delayed half an hour. But, I mean, I put the press conference at 6 p.m. for a couple of reasons. Number one, Chisora had his press conference, and they announced it first, right? So I spoke to Queensbury. I mean, we're trying to work together to make sure that people can do both, people can tune into both. Secondly, if you look at Riyadh season, the press conferences and the weigh-ins are at 9 p.m, all right? But yeah, I get it. But also, we're trying to make the event as big as possible. We're trying to make it accept. It was a great turnout last night at the press conference. So we did our job in that respect. But I acknowledge what Sonny says, and he has got a point that when you're making weight, you don't really want to pop out for an hour and a half or 2 hours and do a presser. But we're trying to do it in the best interests of the show. It wasn't just like, oh, that suits, I don't know, my schedule or Kugan's schedule, so we'll do it at 6. It was, we think we'll do bigger numbers. We think we'll get a better public turnout.
Which you did, to be fair.
We won't clash with Chisora while in presser. And it's not even like, oh, whose is the bigger show? They just announced their presser. And I spoke to George Warren. I said, do you want to go a little bit earlier and we'll go at 6 p.m? Yeah, great. We're working together to try and... So you can't keep everyone happy, but I always take on board what people say.
I know we spoke about Conor Benn yesterday. I didn't hear what comments Simon Jordan made about it. I know you made reference to.
People just told me what Simon Jordan says. I think it was, again, I'm sorry if it's not correct. Has he really been cleared though? And we just want to know, was it down to jurisdiction? Well, I can answer that question. I mean, with an NAPD hearing in UK, you know that Conor Benn doesn't make the rules. The rules are that it's confidential. I'm sure it will come out over time, and it was a full hearing. But what I can tell you is that yes, Conor Benn was fully cleared. And what I can tell you was it was not reliant upon jurisdiction at all. And what I can also tell you is, because this is so important and it drives me mental, there has been no ban, right? He has served no ban, backdated ban. The amount of people that come out, I mean, it's like a cesspit of nonsense when you go on Twitter. It's like, yeah, oh, well, obviously he served his ban now. It's like, how many times do I have to tell you? There has been none. Oh yeah, you would say that. Do you honestly think I would come out and say that if that wasn't the case? No, he hasn't served a ban. There was no fine. And yes, he's been fully cleared to return to the ring. I don't know what else you can say. You don't have to agree with it, even though you don't know the facts, but just acknowledge what happened. And that's what happened. So to be honest with you, I just want to move on.
I think after this weekend...
But how can you not? I mean, at some point, Pete, this is a problem with people's lives in general. They can't move on. You get over it. It's done. It's 2.5 years ago. And I'm just so pleased that having gone down the route that he went down, he's been fully cleared. Because he was such a stubborn bastard that he went, I'm not giving up. I am not going to... Mate, if you're going to have your phone on during the... what respectable media outlet would be interviewing Eddie Hearn with their phone on ring? If you do that again, I'm going to have to consider doing future...
There's my mum.
Oh, right, fair enough. Sorry, Mrs. Cassius. So look, let's move on and let's make a big fight, which is imminent.
Rumours on the February 22nd card. I know you're going to do your normal, wait till it all comes out. But Shakur Stevenson and Schofield,
yeah.
Where's the scope in that?
So, Shakur Stevenson was supposed to fight Zepeda, right? It was all done.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Zepeda's got a bad hand. Okay. So we need an opponent. So we spoke to His Excellency. We've got 3 or 4 opponents in the mix, and one of them is Floyd Schofield. Now, this kid, great young fighter, has been calling out Shakur Stevenson for a good period of time. They've come out, they said, we want the fight, we'll replace Zepeda, blah, blah, blah. So we've made an offer to Golden Boy, and Floyd Schofield has accepted the offer. Now, whether that gets done, whether that gets signed, whether that gets approved by His Excellency, we'll see over the next 24 to 48 hours. But Shakur needs an opponent, and I think that's a really good fight. I mean, Floyd Schofield is a brilliant young fighter, and obviously Shakur's a pound-for-pound great. But I don't like the whole, if the kid thinks he's ready, and obviously financially it's a life-changing opportunity for him, let's go. So I don't know if that fight's going to get made, but we have made an offer to Floyd Schofield.
Okay, when do you expect that card to be announced?
Whenever His Excellency wants to and whenever everything is in order. I mean, look, I've never been involved with a fight card like this before. It's a huge amount of work. And myself, George Warren, Spencer Brown, we've been working our nuts off to get this over the line, and it's so difficult to do a card of this magnitude. But also, when news starts getting out and rumours start getting out, obviously His Excellency will want to make an announcement, and that's down to him, and I would think that would be very soon.
Do you think there'll be a presser before Fury-Usyk?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, quick couple of things. You said about Conor Benn yesterday, you're in deep negotiations for his next fight. Are we talking about the Eubank fight, yeah?
No.
Are we talking about Barrios?
We're talking about, we got 2 options. Fight Eubank or fight for the world title.
What's happened with all these offers? Like, we're sending them an offer, blah, blah, blah.
We've been back and forward with Eubank's team. I think Frank Smith met Ben Shalom the other day for a catch-up. We're talking, but Conor wants to fight for the world title. He's made that clear to us. What I explained to him is the Eubank fight is not a fight, unfortunately, because of the stubbornness and the hate between the two that gets made like that. And Conor's in that kind of mood. So Conor's saying, leave Eubank, we'll fight him in the summer. Let's fight for the world title. And I'll win the world title, then I'll fight Eubank. And by the way, that fight will be even bigger.
That makes sense.
Yeah, bold move, because the money's not as good to fight for a world title as it is for Eubank. But Conor's about championships. Conor's about legacy. Financials are always there for consideration. But I believe he can beat Barrios. And it's a massive fight in London.
How close are you two?
We've made an offer to Barrios. We're talking to Louis de Cubas. Me and him are straight together. It's going to be. You've got Ennis. We've also got Feb 22nd. Ennis, Ortiz. Ennis wants to unify. Barrios could be an option. You've got Stanionis, Norman. We've got to make a decision. And yesterday was Thanksgiving, which is very difficult to make a decision on what is effectively their Christmas Day. But we are going to be making a lot of deals this afternoon.
This afternoon?
Yes.
So that you can give us a few updates tomorrow?
I'd love to, yeah. That's definitely my top priority.
No, but you could do, couldn't you?
I could do, yeah. Listen, maybe by the time we interview tomorrow, maybe there's been an announcement.
Who knows?
Oh, and then we can have an even longer interview.
Do you think Fury beats Usyk?
No. I think he can. But gun to head, no. In my heart, I hope Fury wins. In my head, Usyk's the favourite. Fury can win. Do I think he'll win? Again, if you're asking me for a pick, it would have to be Usyk. But I do believe Fury can win this fight, and I hope he does.
All right, well, listen, I think you're being ushered somewhere else. Eddie, honestly, the jacket's absolutely amazing.
It means a lot, mate. It does mean a lot.
I think that would fit me, I'm not joking.
And not a Palm Angels in sight.
I'm getting out of Palm Angels for 2025. It's still going. I'm too old to be wearing this shit.
Cheers, mate.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much.